Hello and welcome to Hindsight with me, Segun Ojumu. Now, today on the program, we'll bring you plenty from the just concluded United Nations General Assembly. Now, just 2 weeks ago, from the 19th to the 23rd of September, world leaders gathered at the headquarters of the United Nations in New York. Silverbird Television was there to bring you news from the floor of the General Assembly and, of course, the side events and meetings. There's also so much we would like to bring you on that, but we'll see just how far we can go. All right, now let's get on with it, shall we? Now, President Muhammadu Buhari attended the 71st Hunger and stayed till the end of the session, a signal of the administration's determination to turn things around for Nigeria. He met with presidents of the United States, France, Switzerland, and some other leaders. A memorable event at the UN was the signing of the climate change agreement. Nigeria joined dozens of other countries to sign the deal. Stay with us as we bring you some sound bites from the United Nations General Assembly.
It's right to ask whether this is how an organization in which we have invested so much hope and aspiration should function. I propose, Mr. President, that you explore with my successor the establishment of a high-level panel to find practical solutions that will improve decision-making at the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, states must also respect the independence of the Secretariat in accordance with the Charter.
We'll hear an address by His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I request protocol to escort His Excellency. On behalf of the General Assembly, I have the honor to welcome to the United Nations His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Nigeria, as a developing country, has been adversely affected by the global economic downturn. We are, however, undeterred and have embarked on a wide range of reforms in our efforts to diversify our economy and shift emphasis to mining, agriculture, industrialization, manufacture development, and the creation of the enabling environment for foreign direct investment.
Now, after all was said and done, journalists sat down with the President and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, GEOFFREY, ONYEAMA, for a chat. I also caught up with the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for an exclusive interview. First, let's listen to President Muhammadu Buhari at the media briefing, then the Minister of Foreign Affairs, GEOFFREY, ONYEAMA, and then the Permanent Secretary, Ambassador SOLA, ENIKANOLAIYE, who are asked why the President spent a week at the UN.
I called on member states of the United Nations to redouble their efforts for reform of the organization. I reiterated Nigeria's call for the reform of the United Nations Security Council to reflect equitable and fair representation and greater transparency, legitimacy, and inclusiveness in its decision-making. 12, I stressed that Africa should be adequately represented in the Reformed Council in the permanent members category, and added that Nigeria stands ready to serve Africa and the world on a Reformed Council to advance international peace and security. Other meetings and events where I participated and addressed world leaders at different fora included the following. 1, high-level plenary and addressing large movements of refugees and migrants on Monday 19th. 2. African Union Peace and Security meeting on Monday 19th, which dealt with the situation in South Sudan.
And then let's listen to what the Permanent Secretary has to say about this also.
Program, you notice that there are some side events that we organized, apart from his meeting, his address at the General Assembly. We had Nigerian side events, such as, for instance, the climate change. Then he had to sign the Paris Agreement on climate change. The climate change event focused on Niger Delta and Lake Chad. These are matters of very great significance to our country. There was another side event on the Sustainable Development Goals, in which some state governors participated. You had the Business Forum, U.S. Africa Business Forum. These are very important events, which obviously, needed the participation and attention of Mr. President. That will explain why he spent. In addition to that, of course, there were engagement at the bilateral level. Mr. President met several heads of state and government. In fact, we kept getting requests, which shows the tremendous goodwill that Nigeria enjoys within the international community. That explains why he spent 7 days.
And then I caught up with some Nigerians in New York, and I asked them their thoughts about the president's call for Nigerians abroad to invest in Nigeria, and also about making it easier to do business in the country. Take a listen.
The present issue in Nigeria is global. It's not only in Nigeria. There's global recession. The world, Nigerians need to understand it's global. The recession is global. Invest in the young adult intellectual properties. That is the order of the day. Honestly, with that, nobody will be talking of recession. If there is, the farmers are going to continue, they should pump money into the farm. Once they have food to eat, nobody,
Is it look for a need? Look for a need and look for how you can be using whatever you're good at to meet that need. For me, I use filmmaking because number one, I'm passionate about it. So I didn't consider it work. I wanted to use my vehicle, which is filmmaking, to tell a story and make sure that the need, which is not only showcasing the great talents in Nigeria, but also educating and creating awareness for diabetes. So I think everybody in the diaspora should figure out, let me go to Nigeria, visit, spend some time, because it took me 4 years to get this film done. But it's a lot of back and forth, and I figured out this is what I want to do, created a story around it, and it was well received. So I'm excited about that. So
Generally, about the idea, what are your thoughts about it?
Well, I think, in my own opinion, that it's a very, very bright idea, in the sense that the image of the country is not actually the best of images to portray to the outside world. And if these foreign investors are going to come in, they need a platform to come into, right? And the platform are going to be local contents. That's Nigerian businesses. So, and they don't know the Nigerian businesses. They can find out who they are, precisely using other means, because the image has been portrayed as corrupt and all that. But if they can see sort of like a leverage where the government backs up this Nigerian content coming into the field that these guys are going to partner with when they come into the country, I think it will make them make up their minds easier than it would have been without that kind of platform. And with the platform, I think what they're trying to do is to have like a database where all the Nigerian businesses can register. There will be a vetting process. You understand? It has to be like strict, because they need to understand, they need to verify all the information is there. Otherwise, they're going to run into trouble. Then these foreign investors will have a common portal they will come into, and they will see all these businesses, all these local contents with all their descriptions outlined there.
Those were some Nigerians I caught up with in New York. We'll take a quick break now, and after the break, a guest joins us on the program. Please stay with us.
Hello, my name is Nsikak Evans. I'm the host of your regular program Beyond Plenary. This is where we'll be discussing issues beyond the red chamber of the National Assembly. Is it lawmaking, committee meetings, oversight functions, and breathtaking interviews? This is where senators and technocrats will be responding to issues that are agitating for answers. You want to be a part of the program? Then join me this Friday by 3:30. Beyond Plenary, taking the Senate to your doorstep.
Now, joining me in the studio to discuss this further is HAJARA JIBRIL. HAJARA is an entrepreneur. She owns a beauty care center, a spa, and a boutique. Ms. HAJARA, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Now, you heard what those guests, those speakers, the last three spoke about. You know, they were talking about reacting to what the minister said, what President Buhari said about business in Nigeria and how to make it easier, you know, for them for doing business. But before we go into that, let me ask you how long you have been an entrepreneur.
I've been an entrepreneur for about 2 years now, precisely. Yes, I started with the catering business in 2014, and then I went into the spa and boutique business in 2016.
Okay. Now, how would you describe the business climate in Nigeria today?
Well, I would say that it's not been easy, because you're targeting clients that are equally facing a couple of challenges due to the recession. And then given the dollar rates and all that, and the increase in loan rates and all that, it's not been easy. All right.
Now, part of what the president talked about was making business easier, doing business easier in the country. You know, he met with the diaspora, the Nigerians in the diaspora in New York, and he told them that the government was doing everything possible to make sure that it becomes easier to do business in Nigeria. Now, would you understand it if some of those people there don't want to bring their money to Nigeria, being a businesswoman yourself?
Yes, I understand. I do, because we do have a lot of issues tied down to this issue. Number one is difficult to just come in and invest in a country where we don't have you know, a rule per se on establishing a business. People are not compelled to register. You only register when you feel, you know, there's something important you need to do with the registration. So given that now, it's difficult for an investor to just come in and then look for a particular business they want to invest in and then see, you know, where they can get their own profits from. Because nobody wants to go invest in an empty business. At the end of the day, you're not seeing anything. So it's actually quite difficult, and I wouldn't blame them. It would be nicer if we have a set of rules on establishing a business. No matter how little it is, it should be registered. What you do should be outlined, and how your progress is should be checked by the ministry as well. You don't just go register and go home and sit. So if that should happen, it will make it easier. Okay,
share with us your experience when it was time for you to register your businesses. How was it?
Yeah, when it was time for me to register my first business, I registered it immediately. I established it, the Catering Institute. It was actually easy.
Okay.
It's actually easy because, I mean, as long as you know what you're into and what it is you want to do and what you're trying to achieve, it's easy to get it registered. But people think it's hard. Or how am I going to get a lawyer? You just walk in and you get your business registered, and it helps you a lot. I mean, you're actually registered that this is what you do, and should anything, you know, come up, people can actually, you know, make reference to this is the business and this is what they do. So it's actually, it's easy. It's not a difficult thing at all.
Now, going back to what the president said in New York, for you, do you think what he said, does what he said inspire confidence in you to, you know, put in more money, you know, into the economy right now?
Yes, it does actually, because apart from that, this is my country.
Okay.
And no matter how things get difficult, I mean, this is my country. So this is where I have to invest in. I'm not bothered about going to invest elsewhere. So this is where I am, and this is where I can put in my money and then watch my money grow, because this is my home. So it's actually nice that the president is encouraging people out there, because people shouldn't have to withdraw because the country is going through a recession. Most countries are going through recession. So we have to help each other. It's not just based on what the government can do. We have to help each other. So we have to invest, and we have to watch, we have to try, and definitely things would actually grow.
Now let's go back to the Foreign Affairs Ministry has this novel initiative to a database, where businesses get registered. Every business knows what the other is doing. Now, is that something you would like to subscribe to? What do you make of that initiative?
Yes, it's wonderful. It's wonderful, because the thing about business is that there are things you want to do, but it would be greater if you should partner up with somebody that is in your line of business. So it's actually a good idea, because I would like to know who does like spa business and what I do, and we can see how we can make things grow, not just in the economic sense of it, but in reaching out to the community and in so many areas. So it's a good idea, and people should actually have a one-stop shop where they can go to, and this is what I'm looking for, I find it, or this is what I'm trying to get, and then I get it. So it's actually a good idea, very, very wonderful, and it's highly needed as well.
Okay, yeah, talking about also the business climate, the interest rate now is in double digits.
Yeah.
How bad is this for investment?
It is, because the truth is, there are sometimes you want to do something for your business, and you actually need to get a loan. It's very important sometimes, and when you look at it, it's not easy, because number one, how are you going to get your profit back? And then on top of it, you're under pressure to meet up to these heavy rates. And nobody wants to be under pressure. So it's actually not easy, because you're trying to get your clients, you're trying to get your business moving, and then you're trying to equally pay up the bank and all that. So it's heavy. It's heavy. And at the end of the day, given the other economic issues, people are not probably coming in as often as they do, or you're not making your gains the way you used to. So how, coupled with this pressure, it's too much pressure. It is.
Yeah, we had an economist this morning on the show, and he was critical of the double-digit interest rate, because he argued that in other economies, when they want to stimulate growth, they reduce the interest rate. Don't you think there's a what do I call it now? There's a contradiction now, an inherent contradiction. The government on one hand wants to increase business activities in the country, and yet the interest rates are high. Isn't that a contradiction?
It's a huge contradiction, because I mean, I don't know how else you want to encourage people. You don't pump in all your money into a business. You actually do need to get a loan. So when it's high, I don't see how people are getting encouraged. It's not just by word of mouth. You need to encourage people in every single step of the way. So aside every other economic issues we have to deal with, we shouldn't have to deal with this as well, because it makes it really, really difficult. It does. So I think it's an area that should be checked, and for it to be easier for people, they should actually bring these things down, because everybody, it's not just the people trying to start up business that need loans. People that already have their businesses established, they need to upgrade in one form or the other. They're trying to bring in new things, they equally need loans. So it's actually heavy on everybody, but it's not encouraging at all.
Now, if you were to reflect on how this administration has handled the economy, how you think we're on the right track?
No, I don't think so. I honestly do not think so, because we're not just talking about the interest rate, we're talking about dollar increase too.
Okay, how does that affect your business?
It does, on every level, because you don't expect people to come to you to get something, probably as of sometime last year, and it was 20,000 naira, but they still expect you to sell it at 20,000 naira this year, when number one, you had to travel, and then you had to buy these things. Probably you bought them at $200 last year, which was probably an equivalent of maybe 30-something thousand, but now $200, you're looking at it going into 80-something thousand. Of course, it's a difference to you. So you can come and sell them probably at the same 20,000 naira you did last year. Of course, you're going to double it too, because that was what it cost you, but people do not understand that. They just see you as being exuberant. So it's actually really, it's a major problem. Amongst every other thing, it is a serious problem. Because how do you make your profit? How do you even travel? How do you even travel? Everything is stopped as well. So are you supposed to just stay stagnant and not move? So it's difficult. And you can't explain these things enough to people, but it's really difficult. It's a major, it's a setback.
But are you confident that things will improve?
That's a tough question. It's a tough question.
But they say hope springs eternal.
Well, we have to have hope. This is our country, so we do have hope. We hope. We hope.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we have to leave it there. I've been speaking with HAJARA JIBRIL. She is an entrepreneur. She's into the spa business and of course into the beauty and of course catering and of course into the boutique business also. That's all we have time for here on Hindsight, but it has been an exciting program with Ms. HAJARA. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for
please do join us again next week for another exciting package. From me, Segun Ojumu, and the rest of the Hindsight crew, it's goodbye for now. See you again next Tuesday.